Roleplay, practice, questions, objections.
Can we work on expired, you say?
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead.
Am I role playing with you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's gonna make me nervous. Okay. That is the only way to throw.
Let's go.
Okay, am I the agent, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hello, Tisay?
Yeah, hi, who's this?
Hey, Tisay, good morning. Yes, this is just Lisandra Curvelo. I do sell real estate with EXP Realty. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Sorry, what is this about? You're a realtor?
Awesome. Yes, Tisay. I noticed on my computer your property came off the market as an expired listing, and I was just calling to see if it is still a priority for you and your family to get this property sold, or have your plans changed forever?
Oh, yeah, no, we're taking it off the market, but thanks for the call.
Yeah, absolutely. And that might be the right thing to do for you to say. I guess I'm wondering, while I have you on the phone, when you first put it on the market a couple of months ago, what was the main reason, or where were you moving to if the home did sell?
Yeah, we wanted to upgrade a little bit. I'm sorry, why are you asking?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I'm honestly very surprised that the house didn't sell. You have a lovely home, it's in a great location. I mean, I'm honestly shocked. I guess I'm curious, if I have a buyer with an offer reasonable and acceptable to you, would that be something that you would still consider and, make your move to? I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't catch that.
I said I want an upgrade.
Oh, you wanted to upgrade. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I guess I'm curious to say, if I had a buyer with an offer reasonable and acceptable to you that will allow you to upgrade this home, would that be something that you would still be open to even review and look at it?
Do you have a buyer right now? Is that why you're calling?
That's a great question. We do work with a lot of buyers coming from all around the country all the time. Now, what I specialize is in creating, potentially multiple buyers for your property, so you end up netting the most money possible in the marketplace. I'm curious, is that something that, you would be interested in?
Yeah, if you have a buyer, you can call me. Otherwise, we're just gonna take it
Great.
off. We don't want to list it. Yeah.
Great, absolutely. So it sounds to me that you are still interested in selling, and just by you saying that, demonstrate to say that we should get together for just 15-20 minutes so I can share with you my very strategic marketing plan that could help you sell this home for top dollar and allow you to make the upgrade. I'm curious, were you wanting to upgrade and stay here locally, or were you planning to move out of the state?
Yeah, no, we're staying here locally.
Staying here locally. And did you have any time frame where you wanted to make that happen?
I mean, if you have the right buyer, pay me 700,000. I mean, I could probably move today. But listen, I'm really busy, so I gotta go. But
Yeah.
you're welcome to give me a call back maybe in about 6 months or so. Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely. I can definitely give you a call. And while I have you on the phone to say, let's do this because it sounds to me that you're still interested in selling, we can set up a quick Zoom meeting for 15-20 minutes so we can discuss how we could potentially help you sell this home, net you more money, and still help you upgrade. Would today around 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. would be a better time for you?
No, I'm not interested in that, but thank you.
Okay, I just want to hear your feedback because I feel like I lost you around the middle of the call. So I'd rather hear your feedback.
Keep closing. I would say keep at it. Keep at it.
Okay.
Keep at
So
it.
okay. Okay.
It was great, Lissandra. Keep going. Keep going. You were doing
Yeah.
phenomenal. Keep going.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. Tell me the last thing that you said.
Well, you said you wanted to meet over Zoom because it
Okay.
sounds like, I'm still committed to selling, but I said, no, I'm not interested in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would work best for you to say, I want to work around your schedule and I want to work with what, work best for you. I understand you are busy. I understand how life is. At the same time, I hear you that you want to sell this property still, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you
Yeah.
bring me a buyer for 700,000, but it sounds like you just want the listing. You don't really have a buyer. And that's what, most agents are trying to get, which I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. And I'm sorry if I came across like just wanting your listing when in reality, all I want to do is just give you information just for you to make the right decision. My goal is never to talk you into doing anything. My goal is to help you sell for top dollar so you can accomplish what you were looking to accomplish in first place. I'm curious, is that something that's still important for you?
Yeah, like I said, if you bring me a buyer, I'd be happy to pay you some commission.
Absolutely. And that's very generous of you. I really appreciate the offer to say. So, like I said, just by you saying that is exactly the reason why we should get together so we can go over how I can bring you that buyer. And I can be on your side to negotiate more for you rather than negotiate down because that's not what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I want the most money possible, certainly not the least, but you're welcome to call me back in about 6 months, like I said. Otherwise, or like I said, if you have a buyer, give me a call.
Okay. So if I have a buyer today, would you actually sell it?
Oh, do you have a buyer for 700,000? But absolutely, if you bring me an offer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great. Well, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I can hear in your voice you are a very straightforward man. I'm the same way. And you're very smart. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence and tell you that I have a buyer in the back of my pocket because the reality is I don't. However, sellers like yourself hire me because I know how to create multiple buyers coming to their home and typically bring 4 times more buyers than the average agent. So I would love the opportunity to do the same for you because that is what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I do want the most money possible. So
Yeah, great.
I mean,
So
if
let's
you want,
go ahead and set up a quick meeting Zoom for today or tomorrow. What time works best for you?
I'm not interested in that. Sorry.
Okay, so I can come over today or tomorrow. What time typically work best for you?
Listen, you're welcome to drop by and take a look at the house, drop off your business card, then we'll keep you on file.
Okay, absolutely. When would be the best time for me to just pop by and just drop off my information?
I don't know if I'll be home. If I'm not home, just drop it in the mailbox and we could take it from there.
No,
Yeah.
what time will you be home? I actually want you to meet me and see my face because I understand that right now I'm just a voice over the phone. So I really want to open a business relationship with you, whether you hire me now or in the future. I want you to know who I am and what I can do for you. And then you can give me a call later on if for some reason, you decide not to sell now. But
Yeah,
when
like I
you
said,
hire me,
I'll be
you
home today in and out. So if you want to drop by, great. If not, if I don't catch you, just drop it in the mail.
Okay, what time are you gonna be in?
I'm home all day, like I said, in and out. I don't know if I'm in or out. So, you know, you can give it a shot.
Okay, absolutely. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna prepare everything. I'm gonna give you a call when I'm on my way to make sure that you are there because I really would love, for us to meet face to face again. There's no business relationship over the phone, right?
No, no.
Yeah, so absolutely. That's why actually I want to stop by, meet you face to face. So whether, you don't feel ready now or in the future, you already know me. So it's just a matter of a phone call. Lisandra, I'm ready. Just come and list my house. So, and I'm sure once I'm there and I share all the information with you, I'm sure you will see why sellers like yourself hire me for the job all the time. So I look forward to seeing you today, Tisai. Great talking with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel?
Nervous.
Good. By towards the end there, Lysandra, you're like the Latina, just like, hello, I'm coming over. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you should have started.
Yeah,
That type of
right.
energy, you know what I mean? Like, it's not so much what you say, it's
Yeah,
a lot about how you say it, right? And in the beginning, like I love the scripts. However, I feel like less is more.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you kind of dragged it out with the closes and then moving on to the next question. A lot of times, like in the beginning, you might not get that much time. I'm busy. Click.
Yeah.
Right. So start with that energy. You know, it sounds like you want to sell. Are you staying here locally or are you moving out of town? Okay, great. Well, let me ask you a question. If I were to bring you a buyer, would you still move? Yeah, bring me an offer for 700,000. That's exactly why you and I need to meet. You know, I happen to be in your area tonight at around 5 o'clock, or would 7 o'clock be better for you? And close.
Yeah.
And use that energy at the end of the call. Bring it to the beginning of the call because you're very tentative in the beginning. Does that make sense? That's what
It totally does make sense. I have noticed that for some reason I start a little bit down and then I pick up towards the end. Yeah,
you might not get that opportunity, right? So a lot of times buyers hang up very quickly. So you want to bring that energy right in the beginning.
Okay. Totally makes sense. Really good feedback.
I love how you ramped up though. So just keep it up. Great practice. I pushed you hard. Great job. Does anybody have any feedback for Lysandra? Jose, you're here.
John?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ireland.
John. Yeah, Lysandra, I actually enjoyed so much. I learned from that, and I've been at this for a long time. And what I was reminded of is that you've got a really good tone, even though, you know, maybe your accent comes through a little bit, like your Latina really starts to get animated there. But your tone of voice is very good. I like the way that it goes up and down. So it's very engaging that way. I was expecting you to kind of stutter, and because John was giving you pushback. And usually what people do is they start to use a lot of like audible pauses, like ums and ahs and all that filler language, and then kind of choke in a way. But it sounded like you had internalized your scripts. And I think, just to John's point, is that, you know, sometimes it's like you can feel the intensity on the other end, Lysandra, when somebody, say, a driver personality, and they just want to shake you off the phone. So I think it's okay just to go right for the money shot. Yeah. And, you know, something to the effect of what you did say, look, you know, I realize you're probably on the run. Sorry. And thanks for taking my quick call, by the way. Because we're working with buyers right now, would you be okay if I just came by, previewed the home to see if it fits any of the buyers we're working with? Or, you know, if I were to be working with a buyer that was genuinely interested to see it, or better yet, write an offer, would you be okay if I showed up by appointment only? So I think just because you already had your scripts internalized, you just want to listen a little bit more to the vibe that you're getting from John. Some people are okay to engage. And I think the reason you engage him so long, like to the bitter end, if you will, is that you had great tone. You kept asking a lot of questions. And so what I learned from that is, you know, your energy, like as you get to the end of the call, think that now you're you're putting in more energy because it's the emotion, right, that begins to put people in the motion of saying yes to you. It's not so much the words, but it's that energy behind it. So good job on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And you were tenacious.
Absolutely. All right. I hope that was helpful and good practice for you. I bet you're all worked up now. You're in momentum. All right.
Yeah. Thank you
Awesome.
so
Yeah, you're welcome. Jose, good morning.
Good morning.
What are you working on, bro?
What am I working on? I'm down to role play, whatever. I caught the end of that one. I'm guessing it was a for sale by owner.
It was an expired listing.
It was an expired. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
it. Yeah. We're not having to do any price reductions in this market, are we? Are you
Sometimes.
guys? Sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we hear it? I want to hear a price reduction, especially in this market then. I want to hear that.
Got it. From me or somebody else?
From you. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
Mr. Ireland,
ring.
can you be the seller?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's go.
Ring.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Michael, Jose Morales, how are you?
Yeah, good, Jose. I was just going to ask you what was happening with those people that came by in the weekend. They seem to be pretty interested there.
Yeah. So I did reconnect with them, and that's why I wanted to give you a quick update. Do you have a quick moment for me?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So just an overview. As of today, we have been on the market for a total of 30 days. Did you know that?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Right. Now, during the 30 days, we've had a total of 15 showings, which is good. It means that what we're doing to market and promote the property is definitely working. Now, Michael, at the same time, having this amount of showings, it's actually beginning to concern me. Can I explain to you what I mean by that?
Yeah. What do you mean?
So it means that people are seeing enough value to come take a look at the property. They're just not seeing enough value to buy. Now, when we originally met, you were kind enough to share with me that the main reason for wanting to sell this property is because you wanted to be out in Arizona and you wanted to move closer to family. Is that still the same, or has anything changed?
Well, no, that's still the plan. And we'd like to, obviously get there by summer.
Got it. So being, Michael, that the goal is still the same, the marketplace is clearly showing us that we need to make an adjustment on the property in order to be able to sell it. It simply comes down to how much. Now,
what are you thinking?
Yeah, so if we were getting people coming back a second time, or if we were getting people talking about potentially writing offers, the marketplace would be telling us that we're missing by a very small amount, maybe like 3%, being that we haven't had anybody come back a second time and we're not getting people talking about writing an offer. The marketplace is telling us that we're missing more or less by about 5%. That would take us from the 700,000 that we're currently at. That would take us right about 765,000. Would I have your permission to go ahead and put that in this way we can get the property sold?
Like at 735, even if I had an offer of 765, but it's like, yeah, it's kind of cutting it pretty thin, that's not even a net, then your commissions come out of that, right? And does that mean we get an offer at 765 if we do that?
Yeah, so my goal would be to get you that number or as closest to that number as possible.
So people have looked at it, none of them talked about giving us an offer yet?
No. So we've had people obviously take a look at it. The feedback has been good. It's just that nobody has actually written an offer on the property.
Right, right. Well, I mean, like for some reason we're not getting a lot of feedback. I think, you mentioned that somebody thought it was too busy, like the street, and
Mhm.
I don't know, something else about the backyard. But is there any other feedback or anything people don't like, or?
No, and that's probably the confusing part for you, Michael. You're probably like wondering, like, hey, look, is there something that like maybe we need to change, or maybe something that we need to do to be able to get an offer? And to be fully transparent, the feedback has actually been quite like positive on the property, meaning they like
Mhm.
the fact that it's a large home. They like the fact that obviously it's on a corner lot. Now, when a property is not selling, Michael, it's usually one of two things. Can I explain to you what they are?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's either A, the condition of the property, or B, it's the price. Now, I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong with the condition of your property, would you?
No, like I say, like we kind of painted the whole house and got all the yard work done, and you said it looked pretty good, and yeah, it's a little disappointing, but I guess we got to do what we got to do. So, I mean, could we try maybe 675, or
Seven,
would that
seven.
be enough?
So a 775 adjustment, that's like $25,000. That would mean it's right around 3%. So here's what I would say to that, Michael. If we were
Mhm.
getting people coming back a second time, and if we were getting people talking about writing an offer, I would say that the 3% adjustment would be in line with what the marketplace is recommending, being that we're not getting people coming back a second time, or that we're not having people talking about writing an offers. The marketplace is showing us more right around the 5%. Now, my concern for you and your family is if we make a smaller adjustment, is that we would have to come back and revisit this conversation. If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that as well too. At the same time, I do want to be clear that based on the activity that we're getting and based on what the marketplace is showing us, we would really need to make a 5% adjustment. Once again, that would take us from the 800,000 right around 765,000.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's the way it is. So you can't fight the Fed. So why don't we go ahead and we'll do that? And but that's kind of my bottom line, right? Just let people know that.
Yeah, absolutely. So got it. So I'll make the adjustment to the 765, and here's what I'll do for you, Mike. I'll let
Mhm.
everybody who has shown the property, I'll let them know that obviously we've made this adjustment to see if anybody likes it enough to be able to make us an offer on that property. Do you have any questions for me or anything else that I could assist you with?
Are we doing another open house this weekend?
Yeah, I can get that coordinated. That won't be a problem.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, okay, well, I hope that gets it done, and we don't have to be having this conversation again.
Yeah, sounds good, Michael. I appreciate your time, and thank you for taking the time.
All right.
Ooh,
So just
good
yeah,
job.
that was clean and it was concise, and so my experience in that conversation was important use of words, because after you did a quick summary of activity in the market, then you brought about your concern, and it sounded pretty genuine. Because when somebody is looking out for my best interests expresses that they have concerns about my behavior or the course that I'm on, that got my attention. And then you weren't apologetic, like sorry to give you this news. It was really just deferring. The market's wearing the black hat. This is what the market is telling us, and you were simply just reporting. So I didn't feel like I had to shoot the messenger. And you also kind of preempted me, because usually people are going to go into, yeah, well, we should be advertising more, everything. You had already demonstrated that the activity we're getting for showings was the result of the marketing that you're doing. So check, that's all done. That's not the problem here. And really, and everybody I'm sure paid attention to this, you brought me back to here's the evidence that requires a verdict. There's only 2 reasons why any property doesn't sell. And what are those 2 reasons?
Condition and
the
price.
condition or the price, and then you got me to acknowledge that there's really nothing about the condition. So, you know, there we're only staring at one item on the shelf, and that is price. So that was great to help me to get to that place where I had to acknowledge that that's the reality. And I think in that also these conversations, because we can get a little nervous pushing against people like this, because it's kind of it's a confrontational call, isn't it? And I know my tendency in the past is getting a little nervous is I start to talk too fast. And what I'm sure everybody paid attention to here is that your voice is very measured and it's very soothing. Like you got that great voice, which is, to your advantage, but anybody can slow down the rate of speech such that whoever is the recipient of the conversation is going to really be able to, like, it absorbs. So I felt in that, because you were confident and you had strong conviction about what you were delivering, I felt that I could trust you. Oh yeah, this is the right thing to do. And so all that was, that's what made it so powerful.
Got it. Love it.
Mr. Aaron, good morning. Feedback for Mr. Jose.
Yeah, so he's a trained professional for sure. A couple things that popped. I heard the kind of tail end of it is like key phrases. When he pushed back, what we're engaging in, as Michael indicated, is polite confrontation. That's what I call it. Polite confrontation. And I need everybody on this call to understand that there's different skills that are required in order to be like a really powerful leader. And really that's what you're doing here is you're leading, right? You're leading someone to help them make a good decision that will increase the chances that they'll get what they want, which is to get the home sold. But one of the skills that are required for leadership is the ability to constructively work through conflict. And this conversation is one big conflict, right? Because they have an expectation in terms of what they want, and it's not in alignment with what the marketplace is showing them. So there's some key critical components to conflict resolution and to constructively work through it. One of them, Michael pointed out, which is to remain calm and clear. Like our goal and objective is to be the calming force in the transaction. I had a coaching call with someone recently, and she was all worked up and, about something that was going on. And I asked her a simple question. I said, how did you contribute to this situation getting escalated? She's like, no, it's the other agents, the seller, is this? I'm like, no, it's not what I asked you. I said, how did you contribute to this getting to this point? Because if you want to do a lot of transactions, if you want to have 15 pendings and 20 listings, you're going to be having these conversations on a regular basis, and you're going to have to be constructively dealing with conflict all the time. So you need to be emotionally intelligent. If you're all dramified and causing problems and oh my God, you're going to make your life more difficult, and you're not going to be able to, turn inventory quickly. So one is, being calm and clear. Two, in polite confrontation, is choice of words. Right. So when Michael started to push back, saying things like, listen, what I'm aware of is I'd much rather put you in a situation, Michael, where we can bring you offers and you can turn them down, or just flat out say no. Or I can negotiate on your behalf and pull them up to where we want them to be, versus being in a situation where we're not getting any. Does that make sense to you? Right. That's a terminology you can use, that I'm politely confronting and pushing back, right? Or listen, I understand that this conversation is uncomfortable. It's equally as uncomfortable for me. And I promise you, I wouldn't be proposing or suggesting this unless the market was showing us it was 100% necessary. So who's showing us? The market. I'm also acknowledging that this is I get it. I know this is not exciting, palatable news. At the same time, Michael, I take the responsibility you provided me with extremely seriously, which is to protect the value of your property and help you get top dollar. And as such, I'm 100% committed to giving you open, honest, authentic feedback that's going to help you to accomplish that goal, even if sometimes it's not the most exciting. Does that make sense? So what I'd like to do before we get into the conversation about adjusting the price and by how much is just revisit your motivation and the reasons why you're looking to accomplish this. Because the more you're willing to share, the better equipped I am to provide you with information that could be helpful or useful. Would that be okay? Yeah, that's fine. So refresh my memory. Like, what's the goal and objective here? How will your life improve if you sell the property? And then they tell you, well, there's this and that. Okay. And is it an option for you to not sell the home and still move? No. Is it an option for you to rent the home and still move? No. Okay. So then really, in order for you to get what you want, the time you want, it requires we get the property sold. Is that right? Yeah. Good. So being that that's the case, we've been on the market for 30 days. We haven't sold yet. And we've had some showings and no offers. Now, when that happens, there's usually 3 reasons why. Can I share with you what they are? Well, yeah. Well, the first one is maybe I'm not doing my job. Now, you guys are like, oh, you actually say that to them? Yeah. Do you know why? They're fucking thinking it.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking you're sitting on your thumbs playing video games. They're thinking Michael Ireland's just in the gym all day long. They're thinking that you're not doing your job. That's exactly what they're thinking. So I might as well just put it on the table. So the first one is like, maybe I'm not doing my job. I'm just like dropping the ball. Now, having had 10 showings in 30 days and no offers, what's also true is we're doing the exact same things that we've done to sell X amount of $1 million worth of real estate in the last 12 months. So we know that that is not it. Like what we do works, right? And we're clearly driving traffic into the property. The second reason why a property doesn't sell is perhaps the condition. Now, what Jose did there is he just like, he said it and then he asked a tie down question at the end. The only thing I would do differently is be like, well, you tell me, do you feel like your home is not in good condition, Michael? And Michael's gonna be like, oh no, it's fantastic. You know, I redid the toilets and I have new doorknobs on my fucking doors. And I repainted the cabinets, Aaron. That's gotta be worth $100,000. It's in fantastic condition. You're like, yeah, okay. I'm in agreement with you. It's in good shape. And the third reason is the price. So I mean, honestly, Michael, you tell me, having had 10 showings and no offers, what do you think is really stopping us from getting an offer? Shh. Quiet. Let them tell you. Right? And all the while remaining calm and clear. And here's where I would get tripped up. And I'm curious, Jose, for you and Michael and for Kelly, all these people have been selling real estate for like a long time and done lots of units. In the past, when they would challenge me and what I was doing, and like if I was doing it, I would get angry. When I was a younger man, I'd be like, Axel's nodding his head, where you're like, who the fuck are you talking to like that? That's how I would feel. They'd be like, well, what are you doing, man? Blah, 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 right? And you get really defensive. So it's really important to not do that. So if you notice when Michael pushes back at Jose, Jose's just like, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Like there's zero amount of anger or aggression that's coming back. Like, how dare you challenge me? Like, how dare you challenge my character? So when they would say things to you, like, let's say you're having this conversation, you're like, well, Michael, you know, you just care about your commission. You don't care what I sell it for. In the past, I'd be like, oh, really? Like, who do you think you're talking to, man? Like, I have the good fortune. I sell all these homes. If your home doesn't sell, like, I don't really care. But I would get angry. So instead, learning how to be like, well, listen, I appreciate where you're coming from. I really do. And here's what's true for me, Michael. You know, we have the great fortune. We help a lot of families on a regular basis get their homes sold, anywhere from 10 to 15 per month. So if for some reason, you know, you decide you don't want to sell, or if it doesn't work out, like, it's okay. You know, my job's to help you. I'm not here to talk you into doing anything. What's also true, Michael, is I need you to know and understand that I'm not the enemy. I'm here trying to help you. And just trying to help you to accomplish your goals and objectives. So I know that sometimes when we don't get what we want, you know, we want to find something or someone to blame. You know, at the same time, what I'm aware of is through no fault of your own or mine. Listen to what I just said to you. You see, words are important. Through no fault of your own or mine, the marketplace has shifted and changed. We still have interest rates that are twice as high as what they were in 2022. We still have, you know, an economic environment where inflation is pretty rampant. And, you know, what we've seen is that sales last year dropped 36%. Did you know that? Yeah. So, you know, it's really just external market conditions. So we have a couple choices to make, and the choices are yours. You can either A, keep the price the same, and more likely than not, we're going to get the same result. It's not me being negative, just an accurate assessment. We'll have to revisit the conversation. B, it's a drastic option, Michael, but I want to make sure we talk about it. Maybe you take it off the market. You wait, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months, see if something happens in the marketplace, and then revisit it at that time. Or C, we just simply adjust the price. And in doing so, drastically increase the probability we can get you an offer and get you out to Texas in the next 90 days. Based on what you're looking to accomplish and why, what do you think we should do? So just remaining calm and clear. But that piece there, I know in the past I used to get really angry when people would challenge me, but that is, it's immature. Instead of doing that, just remain calm and clear and keep asking questions.
I'll share something that kind of stuck with me that Aaron said maybe like a month or two ago, and I've kind of like used it to talk to people now. Like imagine being in a basketball game and you've never practiced to play basketball. And what he said is that the game will seem kind of fast to you. It'll seem like people are cutting to the basket like really fast. It'll seem like people are doing pick and rolls really fast. It'll seem like just the game is very fast. And what he said is that when you actually take the time to practice, it actually like slows down the game. Like meaning like if I'm playing basketball and I watch film, I'll be able to recognize certain things before they actually happen. So like if I see a player on the other side of the court, I might be like, oh, that player's going to screen me right now. Let me beat him to the screen and let me go around him. Or if I have practiced a certain play, like it just slows down the game for you. And when I thought about that, I'm like, that's like the same thing for real estate. So like what was happening for me is that some of the objections that Michael was giving me or was going to give me, I already knew that they were going to come. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, like he caught me off guard. So whenever we don't practice, whenever we don't chant, the game seems really, really fast. And whenever we actually start practicing and like really understand that that's the key to our business, by practicing, I mean chanting, role playing, writing down scripts, it actually slows down the game where you can recognize certain things and you can recognize certain things before they even finish. You already know what's coming because you've heard that so many times. So I would challenge all of you guys to basically think about it from that perspective. Like even if you were playing football, it would seem like really fast if you didn't practice. Scrambling for answers.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So what made me think about that is my son, he plays soccer and, you know, he does well and he directs, he plays center mid and he's good. Right. But he told me he wants to play in high school. So I was like, all right, well, if you want to play in high school, you have to be constantly monitoring what's happening and working on your game. And at the end of every game, what I say to him is like, first, what'd you do well? He's like, I scored and I had an assist. I said, great. Where's an opportunity for improvement? And what we noticed was a pattern was developed. When he had a wide open shot on goal, while he's running, he gets in his head and he would kick it directly to the goalie every time. So I was like, okay, bro, do you know why that's happening? He's like, well, no. And I'm like, because it's happening really fast for you. And because it's going so fast, you start to think about it, you get in your head too much, and then you end up just going to like a default and hitting it directly to them. So in order to get it to slow down, you need to do many, an nauseating amount of reps. So that way, the next time you have a breakaway and you're wide open, it's happening slowly. And, you can be more in control, essentially. And what Jose is saying is 100% accurate. It's the same thing here, where if you watch me or Jose or Michael or any of these other people that have been prospecting a long time and that have, really worked on this craft, you can watch us do it. And it seems like it's happening like in like 1.5x speed. You're like, how can they know what to say and be on their toes and like all of that? Well, for us, it's actually happening really slow. Right. So to Jose's point, like, I know if I role play in a crowd full of people, like 500 people, they think like, oh, I'm going to stump him in front of people. I'm like, it's not possible because what you're doing is in slow motion to me. I know what you're going to say before you even say it. Before he even finishes, I know what's going to come back, right? But the only way you can accomplish that is through nauseating, disgusting amounts of practice. It's the only way. There's no other way to do it. And here's the cool part is the conversation is finite, meaning there's only a certain amount of ways it's going to go. What else can you do to market my home? You just care about your commission. Can't we lower it less than what you're asking? Can't we do more marketing? My sister's neighbor said that the marketplace is going to get better. I think interest rates are going to get better. I think it's going to change in the election. Like, I just gave you like 7 that are probably like all the ones that they're going to say to you. Right? But by continuing to practice, again, it happens really slow. So as Michael starts to say something like, yeah, well, can't we just, I already know what he's going to say. And then I already have the answer queued up. Now, the challenge is presenting it in such a way as though it sounds unique and fresh. Like I don't hear it 1,000 fucking times a day. You know what I'm saying? That's the challenge. When Michael says like, well, you know, Aaron, can't we just like put it in the Wall Street Journal? And to have the professionalism to be like, yeah, you know, like that's an option. We can certainly do that. Right? Because you're the boss. My job's to help you. It's never to talk you into do anything. Can I share with you what would concern me for you and your family if we chose that approach? And then you go into it, right? So that's where it becomes, that becomes the challenge at that point. It's no longer being worried or concerned about what to say. Now it's doing it in a way where I'm still being patient, I'm still being present, and presenting it in a way that sounds unique, like I don't have this conversation like all the time. But guys, this is a skill. I went and presented to my daughter's school because they asked, it's like career day. So I was like, hey, what would I call myself? What do I actually do? And what I said is I'm a professional salesperson and investor. That's what I do. And what I want all the kids to realize is that they're all professional salespeople. They just don't realize it. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, let me ask you a question. Who here asked their mom for something first? Show of hands. Half the room raised their heads. I said, who here asked their dad for something first? The other half raised and say, oh, my dad always says yes. I said, so that's interesting. You guys know at 10 and 11 years old who to ask for what you want. Then I said to them, hey, I'm curious, do you change your tonality when you ask? Are you like, oh, pwee, 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 daddy? And they all said yes. And I said, why do you guys do that? You know what one actually said? He raised his hand. Because it makes me look cuter. I'm like, that's exactly right. Then I asked, is there a better time of day to ask? You know what one of the kids in the back actually said to me? Yeah, when my mom's on the phone. I said, why? Because she's busy doing something and she just wants to get me out of her face, so she'll say yes more often. How interesting. These kids are like professionals, bro. And you know what else I told them? I said, does it bother you when somebody says no? They're like, no. One girl in the back's like, I've been asking my dad for a dog for 2 years. I said, may I make a suggestion? She said, yeah. I said, keep asking. And I also told them, don't lose that, because as you become an adult, adults have an issue with rejection. Children do not. Like, don't lose that. And whatever profession you're going to be in, you're going to have to sell something to somebody, whether it's your ideas, whether it's a project, whether it's something. And knowing how to sell in a capitalistic system is one of the most valuable skills on planet Earth. And that's all we're doing here. That's it. Like, we're selling what Jose was doing was selling the idea of a price adjustment to Michael. And whoever's more certain, their idea will win. So either they're going to sell you on why it's not a good idea and why we should do more marketing and why blah, 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 right? How the marketplace is going to get better, or you're going to sell them on why this is what they need to do in order to accomplish their goals and objectives. That's how it is. But you'll notice, like, Jose wasn't telling, he was asking him questions. He was like, yep, this is what we need to do, and this is what I think, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, tell me, Michael, what's your goals and objectives? What are you trying to accomplish? What would happen if on the outside chance we were still sitting here 5 months from now and it wasn't sold? What would that mean for you and your family? Would that be okay for you? What do you think the marketplace is telling us about price and product? Ta-da!
Mic drop. All right. Who's next? Mr. Ireland.
Present.
What would you like to work on? Or anybody else? Role play, questions, objections. Please. Mr. Kelly, Ilya, Norm, Mark, Laura. Sorry, Lauren. Nobody wants to roll?
Can I suggest we, assuming everybody here has some list of people that they call this time of year to keep them appraised of market conditions and opportunities. So I'll jump into a center of influence call.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike.
Kelly, you want to be the COI? And then Mike will be the agent?
Love to.
I love it. Let's go.
And I can give mine too after we're done. So let's do it.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Kelly, good morning. It's your realtor, Michael Ireland. Did I catch you at a good time?
Hey, Michael. Yeah. I've got a couple minutes. What do you got?
Yeah, thanks for that. And it was just really a reach out to you. You're probably aware that news is the market is beginning to pick up. And of course, in that, we've got a lot of inventory coming out. Of course, that brings about a lot of activity. Just wondering if there might be anything happening in your real estate plans this year, Kelly.
Nothing at this very moment, but I think my daughter, she's going to be in the market to buy a house later this year. And obviously we would be definitely connecting with you at some point to get that process started.
Well, that's exciting for her and exciting for you. And where's she looking at going and what is she looking at, Kelly?
At this point, just finishing up college. She may wait a year. She may jump in and buy something this year. I think she's going to come out. I think she's already got a job proposal, but here locally in the marketplace, what's your feel at this point? Should she purchase now, or should she maybe wait a year with interest rates being at 6.5%?
Well, as I'm only assuming that her daddy is going to be helping her with getting into this program, I guess that's probably more of a throwback question to you, Kelly. But in general, where are you seeing market conditions from all you've observed out there? Do you think prices are going up, down, or flat?
Just from a couple other conversations that I have had, I feel like they're kind of maintaining themselves. They're not going up. They're not going down.
Mm-hmm. It's a good observation. Yeah, most people would, look at the data would agree that's the case. And since she mentioned she's looking at something more like a condo, a first-time purchase, we're seeing a lot of demand coming into that category, meaning that prices have already started to pick up, like 1.3% in the last month, almost 2.5% in the last 3 months. So the trend seems to be upwards. And I guess if we could find her something suitable and maybe fast forward her plans, buying more at the bottom of the cycle rather than waiting for the prices to go up, is that something that you'd feel comfortable looking at doing now?
Yeah, I think having the conversation, I don't think, with your help over the years, Michael, I don't think getting that conversation started sooner than later, just to give us our options and kind of have that board meeting, if you will, to identify if this is the right time for us or not for her.
And Kelly, I think that's probably a good approach. She's probably going to be overwhelmed with all of the process involved, probably has a lot of questions in her mind. So could I make a recommendation?
Yeah, all ears.
Yeah, so why don't we jump on a quick call here, or better, we could maybe just, meet here in the office for a few minutes. Depending on your schedule next week, I've got time. I've got Tuesday in the afternoon. We could do that around 4:30, or we could do it the following Saturday at around 1. And with this objective in mind, Kelly, really answer all her questions. And at the same time, any questions you may have, really give her a clear view of what's available on the menu and then go through all those logistics. I can also put you in touch with my mortgage broker, unless you've already chosen one to work with. And then from there, we can decide a measured approach so that she can feel comfortable and confident with the next steps. Would that be helpful?
Very, very.
Yeah, okay. So Tuesday at around 5 o'clock, or do you want to do the Saturday afternoon at 1?
Tuesday at 5. That'll be fine. I should be able to connect with her. I'll circle back around after I have a conversation with her, if that'll be okay.
Yeah, that's exciting. And so ultimately, her getting into her own home, fully fledged now as she is, what's that going to be like for her and for you, Kelly?
She's been gone now for a short amount of time, off to college and whatnot. So but I'm in good shape at this point. I have really no plans to make a move, living where I do now. But of course, with your help, appreciate that. But no, just identifying what's best for her right now. That's the main objective.
Yeah, terrific. Well, great. I'll look forward to seeing you then next Saturday at 1 o'clock. And just so you know, our meeting should only take about 30 minutes. We'll go over all the possibilities that are at play, answer all your questions, and then when you're comfortable, we'll take the next steps together. Sounds good?
I like it.
All right, Kelly, I'll let you get on with the day, and we'll see you then.
See, and the thing
right.
that we always like about those conversations, just as Mike demonstrated very well, is just just being a resource. I think, there's probably people on this call that think that, they don't want to sound salesy or whatever the case may be. And that was something that I had to get over myself. But just being that resource, Michael, you did a great job.
Well, thanks for saying that. And did anybody notice where maybe I gave more information that was necessary, or maybe a question that was missed that could have been important for me to gain insight?
Aaron, did you hear anything?
No, not really. I mean, maybe like, when he said like the daughter, the only thing that popped into my head is be like, I just really want to let you know that I'm super appreciative to be the opportunity to be a resource for you and your family. And it's awesome when I get to help not only, you, but then your children. I mean, it demonstrates the highest level of trust. So I'm appreciative of that. So just kind of an acknowledgement, I would have said. And then I might, because it's just warm and fuzzy. And it's true. Like I mean it. And then the other thing is just like with the daughter about the purchasing and stuff, like prior to meeting with her, I may have asked like, well, as my job's to help. It's never to talk you guys into doing anything. So is it an option for her to perhaps maybe not purchase? And if she didn't purchase, would she be renting here locally, or what would that look like? Just might want to know a little bit more of that before we connect it, so I can have, perhaps present other options and choices. That's it. But other than that,
excellent.
Very conversational, very, very professional. I like how you said at the end, getting her into her own home, like what would that do for you? Kelly thought you were thinking he wanted to sell or something, but like you tied it up with like heart. It's like, oh, it'd be really cool to have her close by and like all that stuff. And because, we think that we're thinking beings that feel when we're really feeling beings that think. So people don't buy, they buy feelings and identities. So by closing with like a feeling, that's like a really strong thing.
Feelings.
People buy feelings and identities. We're not thinking beings that feel. We're feeling beings that think. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's right. Because like, think about it. Like people will spend all of this time trying to analyze stuff and then make an emotional decision.
There you go.
It all shakes out, right? And the identity thing, like the feelings and identity is true. So if you look at like the hierarchy of needs, like the first one is security. So some people are like very, very motivated by security. So they'll make decisions that they think make them safe. Two is like variety. So I want things to be the same, but I don't want them to be the same damn things all the time. Otherwise that's boring. Like variety is the spice of life. The third is love and connection. Right? That's self-explanatory. The fourth is significance. Right? So, we do all types of things for significance and status. And really, what's true now is most people who have money buy things to signal to others that they have it. What they're really buying is an emotion. It's the feeling of significance. That's what they're really buying. Not buying the actual product itself. The next one is contribution, where we want to feel like we're contributing to something, and growth. So it's growth and contribution, right? So I remember sitting in a Tony Robbins event. He was like, let me prove my point that people don't buy products and services, they buy feelings and identities. And he had a woman stand up. He's like, who here has spent a lot of money on an expensive purse? Woman stands up. He shows it. It's a Louis Vuitton. He holds it up. He's like, how much was it? She's like, $5,000. He's like, why'd you buy it? And she gets all like, she's like, the color? He's like, really? The shit brown? That's what did it? No. Look at that list over there. What feeling was she trying to buy? Significance. She wanted people to see the person and be like, oh my God, look at her. She's so cool. Then he grabbed another woman. He's like, who spent less money on a person? And she raised her hand. It's like, how much did you spend? She's like, $80. He's like, okay, why'd you buy it? She's like, well, it's at my friend's boutique shop. So I wanted to support her connection. And I don't think it's cool to kill animals just to hold my shit. So it's vegan leather. It's like pleather. I'm like, okay, growth, like contribution. That's why she did it. Then he's like, look, women aren't the only ones that do this. So he asked the guy, hey, what guy, who here in the room has spent a lot of money on a car? Yep. John raised it. So this guy raised his hand. He's like, what do you got? It's like a Ferrari, like something. He's like, okay, why'd you buy it? He's like, well, I bought it because I really like it, but I put $150,000 down on it. And bro, in front of 5,000 people, Tony laughed. He's like, dude, you're so motivated by significance. Not only did you buy the Ferrari, but you had to tell 5,000 people that you put $150,000 down. But then he asked another guy, like, who here hasn't spent a lot of money on a car as a guy? And the guy raised his hand. He's like, well, what do you drive? He's like, a minivan. And he's like, well, why do you drive it? He's like, because I raised my children, my boys in that car. And every time I get in it, it reminds me of all the soccer games. It reminds me of all the stuff, love and connection. So we don't buy products and services. We buy feelings and identities. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Being the guy who has the Ferrari is an identity. You're buying an identity. You're not buying like the product. But if I understand this, it takes me to a whole nother level of like selling, because you'll hear, and the reason why I pointed that out with Michael, because I think it's awesome. But you'll hear me say things to people like, look, my job's to help you. It's never to talk and do anything. Tell me this. How would your life improve if you moved? What would be the benefit to you personally? How would that make you feel if you accomplished it? Why am I doing that? Because we don't buy products and services. We buy feelings and identities. That's why.
Love that. Wow. Masterclass today. Hey, we got 2 minutes left. Kelly, go ahead with Michael.
I'm still taking notes. Calm down.
Okay.
I put the six human needs in the chat, everybody.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Brilliant. All right. Kelly, if you're ready.
What do you want me to work on?
Oh, I thought you wanted to work on COI. Turn it around. Or no?
It's the we got about a minute left. You want to wrap it up for the day?
Yeah, why don't you go to takeaways?
Takeaways at this point. Just, call your COI, be a resource for them. Don't think that, don't put that sales hat on. Just be a person that can contribute to somebody. And just remember, they don't buy products and services. They buy feelings and identities. Great call today.
Feelings and identities. I love that. Major takeaway today. Mr. Ireland, what's your takeaway?
Understand that the real truth is just a proper question away. Asking people, getting past the what into the why. Because people will tell us, like the old saying is that everybody has two reasons for doing what they do. They have the reason they tell you. And then as it turns out, then they have the real reason. And I think once we get through a reason, we can organize our conversation around that, which is meaningful to help them to make the decision that's best for them.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Ireland. And Aaron, last but not least, what is your takeaway or insight for us today?
By practicing, consistently, intentionally, and purposely, you will slow the conversation down. Right? That's one takeaway. The second is that there's two skills to actually being very persuasive. One is intellectual intelligence, which is knowing what to say and how to say it, the way the economic system works, like all that stuff. The second is emotional intelligence. And what's wild is that almost entirely none of salespeople's training includes any emotional intelligence. Zero. What we're primarily focused on is like what to say and how to say it, and that's an intellectual thing. To really help people make decisions and move forward, the block is almost always emotional. It is not intellectual. Mm. So understanding that, being able to utilize that, being able to wield it as a tool will allow you to be able to help more people.
I love it. It's rarely intellectual. It's almost always emotional. What a takeaway today. And if you guys haven't met Aaron Novello in person, I thought he was 5'5", but he ended up being 6 feet. Freaking big guy. What do you know? But my takeaway is call your COI or you're losing a lot of money. Guys, make it a great day and we'll see y'all next week. Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Adios.